We on one send Paul Heine in at the deep end.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
and mix through
1, 0.
This is the side of the cameras that I know most about, but I've only got to take a few steps behind them and I'm into a very different world. But it's a world I've got to master because I'm hoping to join the ranks of some of the world's top directors and direct for a major rock star.
Crossing it, excellent, lovely place, know it well. Lots of love from all the family. Please, could she have a magic button? You're reading over my shoulder. Very rude, children's ITV in a minute. Happy birthday to Brian Lees of St Jude's, who's 4 today, not 40 today, he's 4 today. 4 bunny hops. And the magic button. Lots of love from Ian, Mummy Joe, William and Winston. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Again, hey, thank you all. Steve DeMuth, 3 years old today, from Austin Avenue in Plymouth. Lots of love from Mum and Dad. Could Gus press here's a magic button? He could. He's clever. Thank you. Oh, gone. Lee Hill, 4 years old today. Lots of love from Mummy, Daddy, Zara, Granny and Grandad. Lee lives at Plumway, Willand. What's with the limp here?
Out. Scratch away the whole of the area, and then to finish that off, here's where we use the carborundum. And the carborundum now, on top of that scratching, will work away there nicely, and you will find it will take the surface and show it, in fact, as this letter has here. And the more you do, the whiter it will become. But there we are then for engraving on glass with this modern little technique, which is a fascinating one. I think you'll find you really would enjoy that. Let's move now to metal, and engraving metal using this little vibrating tool. Cost you about £25. Incidentally, a kit for glass engraving, such as I've been showing you, would cost you about £10. Here we've got something around about £25. We've got the machine itself, which is an electrically operated vibrator, and in with the kit we've got various other tips. I'm going to show you how we can make nameplates such as this onto brass. And you can either make number plates or you can have various messages on there. I'm sure you can think of uses where you would want to have this sort of thing. Let's take a plain piece of brass and clean it up by rubbing it with steel wool. So it's well cleaned up, and that way we get it shiny and we remove the grease from it. There we are, nice and clean. Now, if you want to work by hand and you're artistic at all, there is nothing wrong at all in using this freehand. Let me show you what I mean. And you'll forgive the noise, it is rather a noisy little machine. And there we are, initials, lettering, very quickly, just simply draw along, made up a series of punched holes. If, however, you want something more precise, well, this comes with the kit, and it's a little stencil. And if you fix that in position, you can get very nice formal lettering by moving along in that way. There we are then, 2 types of engraving, engraving on glass, engraving on metal. The sort of productions you're going to get are these when you're finished. I think they're very attractive. I think there is a marketplace for them. I hope you'll really have a go at one of them. An exhibition is a marvellous way for craftspeople to get their work known and perhaps make a few sales. Mary Godfrey from the Cleveland Crafts Centre is here with Maxine Mahwini to give advice on how to approach putting your work on display.
Mary, what are the advantages of exhibiting your work?
The main advantage is exposure. It's getting your work seen by the public.
And what about the format? There must be many types of exhibitions.
Yes, there are certainly different ways. It depends on the scale and the sort of work that you do. In a simple way, you could just have your work shown in a showcase at your local library, and that doesn't cost you anything. Or you could take part in a crafts fair. There are crafts fairs all the time, all around the country. But one in particular, which is very good, is the Harrogate Crafts Fair. Then you've got the problem of the sort of expense of taking a stand. Another way might be to show your work in a proper gallery, and that's something on a much bigger scale.
Well, does it cost anything to run an exhibition?
It shouldn't cost you anything to run an exhibition. Usually the gallery would cover all those costs, although there are some galleries who do charge you a higher fee for the space. I'd probably advise you to avoid those initially.
And will the gallery take commission as well?
Yes, that's their return for doing the service for you. Usually it's about 60 or 70%, but some of the more the sort of publicly financed galleries would only charge a small commission.
What advice would you give to the first-time exhibitor?
I think the biggest advice would be presentation of yourself. Go along with some very good quality slides or photographs of your work and a letter explaining what you do. Leave those for about a week or so and then call back just to see what the response of the gallery owner has been.
Any pitfalls we should know about?
The main pitfall really is that there's a time lag involved. You've got to work for, say, 2 or 3 months before the exhibition, which means that you've got to save up your work. You're not going to get any income back, so you've got to know that you can survive for that time.
Is there anywhere craftspeople can turn for help or advice with exhibitions?
Yes, there are the regional arts associations can be very helpful. And there are also, in lots of areas, there are guilds and craft organisations where you can become a member and exhibit as part of a group.
And do you think there's an advantage in that?
Oh, definitely, yes. I mean, that way you get your work shown at the sorts of venues that wouldn't normally consider you.
So that would be a good idea for maybe the first-time exhibitor?
Certainly, yes. And you get a lot of support from being part of a group, a lot of constructive advice about your work.
In your own personal opinion, what would you say are the rewards of exhibitions?
Well, in the end, the biggest reward is the financial one, and the fact that your work's seen. In my case, I'm a weaver, and my first exhibition, I didn't sell anything at all. But after 2 or 3 months, people were sort of coming back to me, having seen the exhibition, and I got other exhibitions as a result of that. So it was well worth it in the end.
Do you think there's a more long-term aspect to it than just selling what is at that particular
Well,
exhibition?
certainly exhibitions in galleries are a very long-term thing. At trade fairs, you're more likely to sell straight over the table, so to speak. So it's a lot quicker.
Do you think it's better to start in your own area and then move further afield?
Yes, definitely, yes. Well, it's certainly cheaper. And you often find that your best customers are people that you know locally.
And you'll get people coming back to you.
That's right, yes.
From your exhibition.
Yes.
Mary, thank you very much indeed for an interesting insight into the world of exhibitions.
Thank you.
I'm sure many of you have never even thought of exhibiting your work, but after that advice, you probably changed your mind. Well, that's all for today. Next time, I'll be showing you how to make wooden toys and paper flowers, and we'll be discussing how to run a small business. But until then, goodbye.
The Make It Pay booklet, priced £2.50, is available now from the Education Office at Ulster Television.
Next on TSW, it's the Krypton Factor, coming up after the break.
Whisk Automatic. A thick, concentrated liquid detergent which goes deep into your wash with the deep, penetrating power to work through and through the fibers, getting your clothes really clean, returning them all to you cleaner.